Hello. I thought I would make a guide in order to explain how Mau Fost works. I want to note that this does not apply as well outside of a Rupture team. I know there's people who use her like she's the second coming of Ring Sang or something, but it's not nearly as consistent outside of a Rupture team as it is within one. So do keep that in mind. The first thing I want to talk about is the gimmick of Mau IDs, which is the deathright and strider effects. Strider basically just gives them 5 haste, which turns their speed from 4 to 7 to a 9 to 12. And what deathright does is it's basically an effect that is inflicted upon the enemy, and when you attack the enemy and you have more than 10 speed, you inflict an additional stack of count, which means that it will turn that respective coin count neutral. This way, any count negative skills get turned into count neutral skills, and any count neutral skills get turned into count positive skills, which makes Rupture, well, count positive for the first time in its life. Do keep in mind that haste does not, Strider haste does not guarantee 10 speed. There's a 25% chance you'll have 9 speed, and that kind of can fuck you over, but it is what it is. Let's talk about the skill 1, and the skill 1 is pretty decent. It is count neutral with or without conditionals, and with deathright it becomes count positive, obviously. It inflicts a bit of potency though, not that much, just 1. Then moving on to the skill 2, it is a lot better. It gives you 2 haste next turn, which first of all will guarantee that you do meet the speed conditional next turn, and there's not that 25% chance that you'll get, fucked over. It is also count neutral if you win the clash, which is something to note about both Faust and Heishou. You need to win clashes with them to stay count positive. If you don't, their attacks are actually count negative. And also it has some nice coin power and some nice damage buffs, which are easy to fulfill and whatnot. A bit of potency, but not much, and that's about it. Now, before I move on to the skill 3, I want to talk a bit about the passive, the Gluttony passive, which requires 5 Gluttony. What it does is, well, a bit of a damage boost, and it is the only way to gain this special status effect, Tianju Star's Blade. What this does is, well, through triggering of deathright, of any deathright, it doesn't matter, it could also be Sea Branch, it could also be deathright, Fisher, it can be anything. It will give you 1 of that status effect, and if Faust triggers the deathright, it will gain 2 instead of 1. And also triggering an assist defense, which is a new mechanic I will explain later on, you gain 5. Keeping this in mind, you have to keep this whole paragraph in mind to use the ID properly. Keeping this in mind, we will go to the skill 3, which it has some nice damage conditionals, some pretty good speed conditionals, plus 3 coin power, and it is a 4 coin skill at full conditional, so that is pretty strong. And what it does is, on use, it gives you Strider, same as the counter, which means it will maintain your high speed. On Clash Win, just as the skill 2, it will inflict count, and then it inflicts on first coin, it inflicts deathright. And this is the important part, because if you think about the skill 3, not only hers, but also any Mau branch skill 3, it's made in a way that you will consume a whole stack of deathright if you have 10 or more speed upon use, and that makes all of its coins neutral. And it also fuels the status effect, which you need in order to get the next skill, the enhanced skill, for which you need 10 of the Tianju Star's Blade, and if you use a skill 3, it will get replaced by this, and it's essentially just a slightly buffed version of the original skill. It has guaranteed crits if you can see it gains 20 poison for count, which means it basically just makes critting guaranteed. And it also afflicts 2 types of deathright, which means once this skill is done, you gain 12 Tianju Star's Blade instead of 6, which means it fuels itself and then some. So you get 12, but you consume 10 and then you gain 12. So it's self-fueling. Once you do it once, you can do it again and again and again and again. And well, you might say, but you don't have a skill 3 every turn. Well, that's where assist defense comes in. And what assist defense is if you look at the counter, it gives you 1 assist defense, and also the skill 3 gives you 1 assist defense. And what it does is, if the enemy targets one of your allies and he's not using a defensive skill, you will intercept the attack instead of letting it go through. And normally this just is done with a clashable guard, as we've seen with IDs like, Zwei Ishmael. But if you look at the clashable guard at 10 plus Tianju Star's Blade, it activates the skill, the alternative skill 3, which means if you leave an attack open on the enemy every turn and you use a skill 3 or a counter, it will, once you have for the first time 10 Tianju Star's Blade, which usually takes 2 or 3 turns, let's say, it will just self-sufficiently cause you to trigger a skill 3 every turn, every single turn. So this is obviously very powerful. And just because of how Mau skill 3s work in general, it deals a lot of damage because it is Rupture, and it also makes some gluttony triggers which deal extra damage. It's also a guaranteed crit, and it also has crazy coin power. So because of that, this is why the ID is kind of busted. So to recap and to give some advice, this is basically what you have to do to properly use her. You need to get 5 gluttony as early as possible, preferably turn 1, which with a Rupture team is pretty much just the norm, because you'll be already countering with all the Maus, and you'll probably have some other gluttony skills to use. So 5 is not hard to obtain. After that, you want to probably have a skill 3 ready by turn 2. This is so you can start inflicting deathright as early as possible and getting the Tianju Star's Blade as early as possible, and also getting an assist defense on that turn so you can get to 10 Tianju Star's Blade. And then after that, you just leave an attack open. Make sure it's not on an ally that uses a defensive skill, because it will not trigger. So clashable counters do not count, clashable guards do not count, any kind of defensive skill does not count, so it will not trigger. And if it's on Faust, it will not trigger either. It has to be a different ally. Other than that, my recommendation is to double slot her, just because it makes getting the special status effect a lot easier. For example, if you first use a skill 3 with 10 or more speed, you will obviously get 6 Tianju Star's Blade, and the enemy will also have another stack of deathright by the end of it. And after that, if you attack him again, you will fuel your Tianju Star's Blade up to 10 because you hit him again, and at least with 2 coins, as we know her kit, which means you will 100% have 10 Tianju Star's Blade, which means because of the assist defense you gain from the skill 3, you can now do another assist defense with a skill 3 too, just fine. And then it fuels itself, and so on and so on. So this is already viable by turn 2 if you think about it. So this makes her getting online very fast. So I recommend double slotting her, and then just making a Rupture team be whatever, the Maus, and then you can do something like Warp Sang, Sea Branch, Rodian, or Deviat. Rodian works just fine. As for Deviat Sinclair and Redshift Sinclair, it is kind of hard to decide I've seen some interesting strategies using Dawn Claire and then using Branch of Knowledge in order to get some potency, although I am not too fond of that strategy. What I do is just keep the new Red Sheet Sinclair passive, because even though it's, well, obviously not the same as the old one, it's still pretty damn good, because that's one extra potency per hit that you're getting, and getting as much potency as you need is what the name of the game is now. We kind of ironically enough went from needing to stack count to needing to stack potency, and we can kind of just ignore count now, well, at least if you know what you're doing. So yeah, this is the video. I don't really know what to say now, so thank you for watching, I guess, if anyone even will watch this. I know my last video kind of blew up, probably because of the clickbaity title, but yeah, I guess maybe this one will too, so I don't know, see ya.
He was a serial killer who bragged about killing people, and he professed and confessed to be a demon.